On this week's episode, we have Grace's epic return from Qatar, some big changes coming to the company, and a funny reminder of what the real world is like outside of the SSP bubble. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Straight Shot Podcast. As you can see, we have upgraded Grace's gear.
Look at my sound. Check my sound.
It's totally weird to I have to get used to it, but you know, Black Friday came and we just kind of went for it. Obviously, we have a production company as well, so sometimes voiceover is needed for our YouTube videos and as well as client work. So it was overall a good buy. The SMB 7 that we use here, it's rare that it goes on sale. So when I saw it, I jumped on it. And let's jump into it. Another week here. How was it for you? You're back. You're back from Qatar.
I am back. It's good. I'm happy to be back, which rarely happens after a trip. I always get post-vacation depression, and at least for like a week or two, I'm always reminiscing. I'm like, oh, a week ago today I was doing that. A week ago today I was here doing that. I didn't do that once this week. Just today, I'm like, oh, a week ago today I was doing the podcast in my hotel room in Qatar. But aside from that, I haven't done that, and it's been great coming back. Being there was awesome. But I do get homesick it's weird. I get homesick for the American culture, even though I'm like, what even is the American culture? But I am American. So when I'm away from it for too long, I do miss functioning as an American, because Qatar is, not only is it a different culture, it is like a melting pot. It felt like even more so than here, New York, which is big to say.
But you mean... Yeah, but you weren't, I think, I don't know if Qatar's always like that. Yeah, I mean,
no,
literally
that's the
you
thing,
had every
though.
country being represented, you know?
Yeah, there was that aspect, but also Qatar as a country, they said only like 15. I don't want to miss information, but someone told me, a Qatari there told me, you know, it's like 15% Qatari people, and then the rest are all international people. And so, funny enough, yeah, because people just come to work. And there's like a rich country and everyone wants to work, and so basically everyone's speaking in English. Arabic is the official language. That's what the Qatari people speak, but because everyone's from everywhere, they all speak English, but no one's first language is English. So it was very interesting where it's like I couldn't speak like I do all the time. I had to speak very slow, and almost like speaking broken English was better than speaking proper English. And so that got a little tiring. Not tiring, I mean, like, okay, you travel, you do that, you know, but then I always get homesick for just, you know, going to a coffee shop and just ordering coffee without having to talk slow and just being like, hey, can I have this? Something simple like that I missed. But yeah, and also culturally it was interesting. So funny story, there's this on my trip back, Qatar, I was alone. On my trip there, I was with my mom. On my trip back, I was alone. And I sat next to this Canadian dude. And he knew someone he was friends with one of the Canadian soccer players. And so it was really cool. We were talking about that. And then he whispers to me, he's like, hey, I just took a Xanax for the first time. A friend told me it'll help me sleep. So if I die, like, just check in on me. And I was like, oh, okay. God. That was scary. Anyway, wait, what was my point with that? I had a point with that. So when I was talking to him about just, you know, how the trip was, he was saying how he thought Qataris were rude. And he was like, yeah, I was talking about how nice Canadians
are.
That's
Canadian. Sorry, I was like, he's American, talking about other people being rude, but he's Canadian, so...
He's Canadian, but... And so
everybody's rude to Canadians, you know?
I know. I was like, I understand, though, where he's coming from. Like, it's very much a culture shock. I don't think anyone had malicious intents. Yeah. But to a North American, it did feel rude, the treatment, because everyone's very rough and very blunt and, you know, like... It's rough. It's pretty rough. But as a whole, I think considering that that's the culture, I think it was great. Like, everyone's very nice, friendly, helpful. Everyone wants to help all the time, you know, if I'm lost in the streets. So, yeah. So I did miss the culture. And also,
Here's a good question, though. Would you go back?
So I've been asked that. You should have saved that for the question game. But I've been asked that, and I don't know that I would, because I'm like, I went, it was great, but I feel like I saw most of what was to be seen, because there's I mean, unless I'm being ignorant and I don't know, but I saw the city. I saw a lot of different parts. And then you go outside of the city, it's like desert. I saw the desert. I saw the ocean next to the desert, which Qatar, they said Qatar is like the only country or one of two countries that has desert right next to ocean. So that was cool. But yeah, so I don't know that I would go back. It was cool though. But if someone else was like, let's go to Qatar, I've never been there, I'd be like, okay, I'm down. I'm not opposed to it.
I kind of know what you're saying. I mean, except that, well, when my brother got married a couple years ago, it was in Poland. It was about an hour outside of Warsaw. And my uncle was I don't know why, he was hell-bent on having us go to Croatia. I think because he had been there for work or something, and he knew something we didn't, and he was like, we're going to Poland, because I wanted to like go to Prague. I wanted to see some other places. And he was like, dude, we're going to Croatia, Dubrovnik and Split. I like know exactly what to do. And I was so like why? Like, it just seemed so random to me. But when we went, it was really beautiful. Game of Thrones nerd, and so King's Landing is Dubrovnik. And for anyone who's like curious about the trip, totally worth it. Do the Game of Thrones tour, be a total tourist. It's cool. And there's a nightclub there that's like one of the hottest nightclubs in Europe, blah, 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 blah. Has all these write-ups. You're basically partying in like an ancient Roman Greek like type city,
That's dope.
Yes, with like lasers and shit. It was crazy. So we had a good time. Much, much better. Like completely over-exceeded my expectations. And so like I would go back to Croatia because I thought it was a really unique experience and stunning, So so that's how I look at it. But there are some other places where, I was like, yeah, I had to go. And it's like, yeah. If I wasn't forced to, it's like, it's not on my bucket list or anything,
I have to say, it's a gorgeous country because it's so new and all the art, like everything has such detailed design everywhere. And it's interesting because I don't see that anywhere here. It's very different from here, of course. But because it was so new, I almost felt like it lacked charm and it lacked like years. Because I feel like some places you go, you feel the history, even if you don't actually learn about a history in it, like you feel it. That might just be, I don't know, artsy, but I don't know. You go places and there's a little character, things are like breaking down a little bit, and you're like, oh, this place has been lived in. But everything was sparkling clean. That was another thing I noticed. There are cleaning people everywhere. Like at the mall, like there's like the cleaning cart passing by, and I'm like, there's nothing to clean. It's so sparkly, shiny. So yeah, it felt almost too perfect in my opinion. But
I think they wanted to really show up for the amount of people.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it's very interesting. Japan, you're half Japanese. Japan is like that too. Although Japan
cleaner
does
than
have
Japan.
the history.
Cleaner than Japan. Yeah, like I've never seen something so clean in a big city. And like it's a huge city, and I didn't smell smells. Nothing. Yeah.
What about homeless?
No homeless. That was another thing. My mom, she was like, either Qatar takes care of its people that there's no homeless people, or they somehow
Grace,
put.
I mean, there's gonna be some,
right. Or they somehow took care of that. I don't know, but I didn't see a single homeless person.
Wow.
Also, the area I was staying in is pretty, the hotels, and it was like probably the Times Square of Qatar.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, the richest area and everything like that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So how was your first week back though? Because I gotta say, it felt like it was funny. I saw you sending emails Sunday or something, trying to follow up on things. Which what's funny about it is half the stuff you followed up, like half the stuff you were following up on, we had already kind of had conversations about.
I thought
you were like asking questions. It's probably because I had a phone call with them already or had a meeting with them, so it's not like in the email chain.
That's funny. Well,
yeah. So, but I was just like, wow, she's kind of just, I guess she's bored. She like came back, she did her thing, she's bored. Because the other thing, on the other side, I was laughing because like literally a few hours after you landed, you're like posting photos like you're out in New York having hot cocoa, ice skating in Bryant Park or whatever. I'm like, what the? But this girl just doesn't stop.
Wait. I need to stop you there. And this is like a social media's fake moment because everyone was like, because I posted for context, I posted a photo. Look at me giving context. This is new.
Good. Yeah.
I posted a photo on my story of me drinking hot chocolate, and I captioned it, 14-hour flight and my body is like dead, but it's okay because of this hot chocolate. And everyone's like, what the why did you just get off a plane and go get hot chocolate? And then I was like, social media is a lie. I exaggerated. Like, I actually landed on Saturday noon ish, and then I went home and I unpacked everything and I took care of that, which I was kind of proud of because I never do that. Usually I let it like stay there for a little bit. And then I took a little nap, and then I was so tired, but I didn't want to like cook or take care of myself. So I rolled into an Uber that took me to my friend's house in Jersey, and I just had them take care of me. I went to sleep early. I slept many hours. Then the next day, slowly woke up, had a slow breakfast. I raked some leaves for them to show my appreciation. And then we went to New York, and they drove me to New York. So it wasn't like, riding the bus and riding the subway. So it was much easier. So that's the context. I wasn't that dead. Yeah.
I mean,
but I thought it was funny to be like, I just got off a plane to get hot chocolate because I really like hot chocolate.
It still was like, it still was like you were out,
That's true.
The next day.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Grace thinks she's an introvert, so it's very funny.
I am.
I always joke about her with it, as she has something planned every night of the week, inevitably. Okay, but then, Monday comes, and we didn't even talk about it. I guess we talked about it on the podcast, but, like, literally, we're so busy this month that it's just, I felt like, it literally just felt like you were there, as in...
Like nothing had happened?
Kind of, like... usually there's this big break or there's an adjustment period. It takes a day to get back into the groove. But, dude, Monday, this whole week, I felt like we were just on fire.
I'm glad.
I've been telling everybody.
Oh,
you glad what? That like, it's just, of course. I mean,
well, no, that
it
usually.
Been doing a lot,
No, usually I come back from a break and I have like a big mess up because it is a rhythm thing and I lose it if I don't stay on top of it. So I'm glad I didn't miss anything super big.
No, you were on top. And this month has been, I've been saying this before. November, December is like, that's like playoffs, for content creation that relies on ads. So we have been just on fire, the whole team, everybody just really stepping up, getting extra content made for the holiday break because we do our best to take off the Christmas, New Year's break. So we're pumping out extra content, getting ready for that break, and it's just been really, honestly, it's great. I have nothing. I'm really happy to see how people are handling their first holiday rush. It's going well, and I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling I'm finding my rhythm. Like, I'm peaking at the right time. People are stressed, but like, shout out to our producer Brittany, who like is really holding down the fort for our Snapchat content. And like, I just keep telling her, don't worry. I am the guy you want leading the charge. Like, just, if you're bugging, just come right to me. And I have made I'm not a fast decision maker either, but I'm relying on hopefully just my trained instincts at this point. And I feel like I'm just making fast, good decisions, which is not my normal shtick. As you know, we've spent a long time making some of the other decisions that are going to impact us next year. But it's like, dude, and I think a lot of it's pattern recognition. A lot of it is I'm just that one of those kinds of people that like performs the best when they're under pressure. I wish it wasn't like that, honestly, because I'm trying to keep that energy and that passion when it's boring and when it's chill. But there's nothing like when you're against the wall and you got to make it happen. Like, to me, I'm having a blast. I'm tired, exhausted after every day. Don't get me wrong, but like, and I think that's what makes me look so crazy in front of my team and my producers. I'm like, I'm so happy right now. I'm so ready for this. They're like, thank God you are, man. I'm glad someone's enjoying this, and it's just like, it's really funny, but it's just because I like challenges, what they don't see. I think what they don't understand is that it's temporary. Mm-hmm, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the thing. And I know it's hard to see that, like, when you're in the thick of it, right? But it really is. And so I know, okay, I can push myself for 2 months or whatever and, like, and grind, really like I've been saving. I feel like I've been storing energy just to be able to come out the gate hot when people really need it. And my team does a great job all year round, but like, you know, as a leader, I think this is the first time we've had a really big challenge like this. This is just a volume challenge. Like we're a small team doing more than most. So it's very much like making sure that we're like leading top down, you know, like they know I'm in the trenches with them and I'm dealing with the clients and I'm still training and giving feedback, and we're working on next year. So yeah, but we've been putting in extra hours and time. And I think overall, I'm feeling pretty good about what we're doing. I don't know about you. I mean, you're coming back. I think you can see, I think I made some decisions already. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely missed the pace. I feel like in Qatar, it was very slow. I mean, slow in getting anywhere because you got to figure things out, how to do the transportation, slow in communication with everyone because English is not everyone's first language, slow with my mom because my mom is just by nature like a slower person. I don't know, just a slower person. And so I was like, I want to run now. And so it's been cool to jump back in, and it's like riding a wave. It is like riding a wave. I was feeling very much of it because yesterday Sophie is one of, you know, used to an intern here, and she had a drive here and she needed a cable for her drive, so we were looking for that. And meanwhile, while we were doing that, she was like texting me something like personal and then trying to ride this wave of like this pace that's here, and then stopping to like try to do personal life text was not, no, it's so hard. As I can't text anyone personal while I'm working because
I know that
it does feel like, you know, yeah, it's weird.
And like my family, it's like, my you know, we have a big Puerto Rican family. There's like, what's actually extra annoying is, one, I don't know how to leave a group on iMessage, and two, there's like 20 family groups, so there's no escaping one of them. And I think they just keep making new ones because they don't know how to like reply to the same thread, and they're just constantly going, bro. There's always something going on, and so I try to just mute them all because like it is such an easy distraction. Look at this cute video of like Puerto Rican folk music. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't even look. So but you know, it definitely has been much more intense than normal, but I think it is fun because it's new stuff for me. A lot of it is like business heavy stuff, marketing, sales. I feel like I'm having some of my first, I don't know, like big boy conversations. It feels like, you know, talking with other people who have like done it, working with companies who are like, we're talking about $50,000 plus investments, you know, which is like a real, I mean, whatever. I hope in a few years we're talking about this, laughing about a $50,000 investment or something. But really, when you think about it, it's like, imagine, I don't have any experience with that. Nobody in finance. Like my relationship with money was very typical, I guess, immigrant, like save it, get an education, get a stable job, you know. And so now it's like, I don't think I could tell my parents half the stuff my father would probably get it because he's in marketing and he understands some of this stuff. But my mom would be like, why don't you like, I don't know, go on vacation with the money or something, you know, or like buy a house. That's probably would be buy a house, get a wife, have a kid. That's, you know, and I'm just like, nah, I'm going to stay. How about I continue to live in this basement longer and pour every penny back in and like try to outpace other people and try to stay on offense in the recession. And it's so counterintuitive to like the way most people think that I think I prefer to just close it all out, do the work here, turn the brain off for a couple hours and then come back in and do it again. Cause I feel like outside of here, it's a little difficult, which I guess is funny because we went out last night to a holiday party and it was like an outside the bubble, you know, like normal people, you know what I mean? Just normal,
totally not business, just
Brooklyn
like,
people. Yeah, chill.
Just
We
like
talked
friends.
about anime. Yeah, we talked about anime and K-pop and painting and
soccer.
We had what was the thing called? This guy made these pecan truffle.
Oh my God, they were
out of
so
control.
good. Like chocolate covered little like pecan bars, I think. Yeah, so good. And then we had cranberry margaritas.
Right, and
So
it's just
good.
funny to see what was eye-opening was the conversations we're just
You don't
so
really
different.
talk about anything real, too. Like, I mean, I have those friends who I don't really talk about anything real.
What do you
It's
wait,
funny.
wait, wait, wait? That's a very
Let me
you
explain.
just
Let me
went so
explain.
bougie with this. Yeah, yeah. You went so deep, you know. What's real, Grace?
No, as in, I'm not talking like that real. I'm talking about like, you know, you're kind of just like bullshitting in that you're making a joke. You know, you're passing jokes back and forth. It's like, oh yeah, I've known you for a year. Like someone I just met. Oh yeah, I've known you for a year. Oh, we go way back. Oh my God,
Oh,
remember
yeah,
the
you're just
gingerbread house?
joking.
It's like just pure bullshit, but it's so much fun. Yeah,
second
normal
for me.
people stuff, as if we're not normal, but we are normal.
We are physically
I'm not gonna be,
average, but we definitely don't live a normal lifestyle, you know?
Physically average.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're human beings. We yes, we're normal in the sense that like I'm triggered by the same set of emotions that everybody is, but it's like when you start listening to their lifestyle, I asked, it was fun though. We had a good time, but like I asked a simple question. Also,
Oh.
I'm hanging out with a bunch of 20-something-year-olds, right? And it was like, I said, hey, just by listening to them talk, I was like, out of curiosity, how many people here have more than one job? Like 8, most of the room. So it was like, you know, like 8 out of the 10 people raised their hand. And I was like, I remember those days, damn, you know? And then it's like, and what they do and what they care about, like what they want to spend time talking about, right? Which is so different because what we
interesting.
spend most of the time talking about is very narrow. It's either like health, wellness stuff that's really there to help me do my job, or the immense amount of different kinds of decisions that are happening at the job, or the sort of product, the storytelling stuff. Like we nerd out about movies and TVs movies and TVs. We nerd about tech, movies, TV shows, comics, you name it. But that is also hobbies that are sort of adjacent to the job. And it's actually funny because like they talked about that stuff too, but it was from a different perspective. Like we're launching 2 webtoons. One of these girls has 100, she in her Apple Notes, very well organized, all of the webtoons that she watches, what chapter she's up to. And I was like, wow. Like I guess what the biggest difference is, I'm not a consumer like that anymore. I don't know what's going on with the current brands and trends and the celebrities. I'm not up to date. I mean, I'm up to date. I'm just my few shows, maybe a couple of the movies that I'm watching. But like, I was like, whoa, I'm definitely, where I spend my time is so different. And it
Just
definitely
opening
consumes a
up
lot of
their-
my thoughts, you know?
Just opening up their home YouTube page was so different. They all had like a bunch of
Hilarious.
K-pop versus or K-pop, or I don't even know what else, anime. And then here it's like bulking stuff, how to bulk,
Workout
how to
videos, yeah.
workout videos, and then, you know, how
Alex
to take your
Hormozy.
business
Yeah.
to 100 million or whatever. I don't even
And
know.
then like League of Legends or TFT.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like 3 things, which by the way shows you how good YouTube is. But now that's a real fun thing. I definitely want to go and scout other people's YouTubes. and-
Everyone's YouTubes. Yeah, everyone's showing their Spotify Wrapped. They should really be showing their
yeah,
YouTube
they do
home
that too.
pages.
Um,
Yeah.
that's definitely was sort of a fun thing from this week outside of the job itself. So yeah. Oh God, and I realize there's gonna be more of that, but you have to think, even the events we go to, Comic-Con, Sundance, like Cannes, Adweek, you know, VidCon, it's all gonna surrounding the same thing.
Yeah.
And to be fair, my favorite part about New York is that you can have those experiences. I got deep in a conversation and now I'm more equipped to talk finance or something else, that's somebody else's job, you know, which I think is really fun. But it was a reminder that most people's jobs are not their life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
because I would
they-
try
they
to
do
talk
it for
about
money, and they have other shit that they want to do.
I would try to
guess.
talk about their work or like what do you do, and it was always like skirted around.
Yeah,
At
really
least
interesting,
yesterday.
right?
Yeah, people are like, yeah, but I like poke needles into people, but like we don't talk about it. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Like they're doing a research study, and you.
But it's not important. And I'm like, oh, but
Yeah.
what is the
Well, like,
research? And
why are
like, how
you
long has it
doing
been
it then?
happening?
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, and that's their second job, you know. And,
Right.
and I realized, wow. It was
yeah.
eye opening a bit for me, you know, because I've been
Yeah.
stuck down. I've been, you know, grinding it out for a while, and when I'm talking with my family, we're talking about. We're also not, you know, like it's different. We're talking about family stuff. How's everybody doing? What's up with the kids? And Sports also, which like,
Interesting.
isn't here. Yeah. I mean, like stuff like that, and on that note, like my uncle has a budding little business now. And so we'll talk shop there. My brother's always on to the next thing, crypto or this and that and whatever. So we'll talk there. But yeah, this was definitely different.
It's interesting talking about what people talk about. Yeah, my friends, I feel like I have very different friend groups, and I always have, like my one friend group asking, like, what do you talk about with those people? And I'm like, I don't know, but very different things, which I like having different bubbles. It keeps me stimulated.
Yeah. But you're a chameleon type for sure. Whereas, I'm very curious. So I can make I can have a good time anywhere. I just want to be around happy people, that are just trying to do their thing. But yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that was the personal side, yeah.
Some other hit me with some other.
We have 8 interns coming in next month. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's not.
Let's not. Actually, let's not.
No, that was
you just
I'm just
I was like, all right, I'll skirt the topic.
No. I
think it's an accomplishment.
Why. I mean, it is. I'm nervous about it.
Okay, no, but like we used to have that many interns.
That's why I'm nervous about it.
That's when I came in.
Yeah, it was me and a bunch of interns, and then I'm remembering the headaches that come with that, but I managed everything at the time. And I'm just really hoping that I have, and everybody's young, but I'm hoping I've equipped my managers with enough skills that they can actually handle it, serve these interns, because I'm very, very particular about our internship program and how much value it must generate for the interns. Like if they don't walk away singing our praises, raising our flags, telling people how important it was in their growth as a bridge between school and work, I would be so pissed off, And as you know, because I obviously have learned to become a mentor through all of that, it's like I'm just like not sure how my managers see it, because I know that part of it for them, which is okay, part of it for them is like trying to get work done and stuff, right? And I'm trying to remind them like the interns is not about you. And I think a lot of companies make that mistake too, but like young ones that like need them really to be a little bit more.
What do you mean the intern is not about you?
It's not about what they can do for you. It's about what you can do for them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's the big thing. And like, that's not that easy when at the same time I'm like, where is this? Where is that? Where is this? Right. And then they're like, well, the intern's slow. And then I'm like, okay, right.
Yeah. Like what are you going to do?
You're working with the intern.
Yeah.
Make sure that the intern more importantly, are they happy? Are they learning? Are they growing? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Which I don't feel like is very common in internships.
I really don't know. You're talking to the wrong guy, because I never did it like an idiot. I should have, but I didn't.
I mean, I don't know that. Did I do internships? I mean, I did a few, but it was kind of just like hanging around. I did at least one, yes, here, but I did 2 others outside of here. I remember as like assisting in a play, like, just doing techie stuff, or I was assistant teacher, and it was fine, but it felt like busy work. Versus like, of course, you do busy work in any internship, but I did learn a lot here. What the most being like safety over speed. I think that was the biggest takeaway during my internship period.
And you're seeing it now with the new people making the same mistakes, right? Like one of our new producers having the same thing, and it's out of fear. It's just fear-based decision making, man. It'll end up causing you more mistakes than slowing down and getting it right.
But the fear thing, I feel like I am a very fearful person in life, just like the way I am. And I still am, but I've learned so much here I've been thrown into so many situations here where I have to figure stuff out that I have no idea how to do, or and then I've gotten so used to that feeling and just like being like, okay, I'll figure it out somehow. Like no one expects me to know how to do it. That I felt that difference when I was in Qatar, because there were so many situations where we were like, how do we get home? Like, I don't know. And my mom is just like panicking, and she gets so silent, and she's like, oh my God, what do we do? And then she's just like there. And then I'm like, all right, well, we're going to try something. We can't just stand here do nothing. So that I like take charge and just be like, talk to people and like, figure it out. Something I would have never done before. I would have just like sat behind my mom and waited for her to figure it out before. So that was
Good
cool.
For you. That's awesome. That is great.
Growth. Yeah.
That's huge, man. Yeah, I mean, it's probably the most common problem that I think needs to be overcome if you want to really succeed and really be a leader and a manager, someday. Anybody who wants to be, to really lead
I don't know if I want to be a leader,
some,
but
some way.
yes.
I mean, that's what you did there, and that's what you do here anyways. Like, you know what I mean?
That's
If you
true.
want responsibility anywhere, if you want to be part of anything great, you're gonna have to learn how to
You're a
manage
leader?
people. That's what it's about.
That's
no,
true.
there's a few things you can do that are completely alone, right? You can become a great painter by just painting and doing that and not having, you know what I mean?
Right.
But
right.
like,
But I do like the people. Hashtag introvert.
But basically, like, I think, if it's such valuable skills to learn, which is funny because, I know your mom and she's great.
Yeah, she's wonderful. I always have to say
yeah,
that.
and but I can see how that happened. I could see it,
Yes.
She's very soft-spoken. But I think that's what an interesting thing. Yeah. And I mean, I just find myself repeating the same few things. I see a lot of the same mistakes. And we're about to add, but the interns is like the tip of the iceberg, right? We're making a couple of hires here.
Yes.
And we're reinvesting heavily in new areas. Dude, I really think that next year is going to be, I can't even believe I'm even saying it, like crazier than this one.
Yeah, bring it on. Hell yeah. And we have an illustrator. Talk about that.
Yeah. So we're making this step. We're opening Straight Shot Studios. Podcast name might change for the 17th time here as we figure that out. But basically, we are opening a studio side and are starting Webtoons project next year. I'm super pumped about the illustrator. I think he's got great fundamentals, and I think there's a lot that's going to happen once he's in our system and really starts to take the storytelling part super seriously. So I'm really looking forward to that, which we're staggering. We're going to try something. I'm staggering his hours so that he works later, like my nights and weekends. So his days off will be Monday, Tuesday, just so that I have stuff to do now, weekends and nights, basically. Which I think is going to sound crazy to people, but he's mostly working independently, so it's not like I'm actually working, like, whatever. But I'm excited for it more than anything, like bringing characters to life, actually taking all of the hard-earned skills that we learned in creating content for social media and bringing it to our own work. I mean, yeah. But in addition to that, rebranding, new website's going to happen, all that mission, vision, the whole nine. People are going to reach into the depths of my soul again. This will be probably the third time now. But these guys are just, true professionals at it as far as trying to match you with your target market. So we're doing full-on branding, new website, we're bringing on marketing, trying out market hire, bringing somebody on from there who's an expert growth marketer to really set up our top and mid-funnel strategies. Look at me talking like a
by the way,
guy.
but about the funnel thing, I was looking through my Asana. Asana is our project management app, but I have all my tasks that I need to do for the day and then like things that have piled on throughout the year. And then I was looking through my, to-do later thing, and one of it was like find person to build sales funnel from a long time ago. And I was like, oh, look at that. We finally did it. I never thought we'd do it.
I know, man. I think it's funny because I feel like I had the mentality that I have to figure it out for a while.
Like
that
figure
was
it
a
out
big
yourself?
thing. Oh, yeah. Like, I need to know how to do marketing because I do think, so, my whole thing about leadership is you have to be able to know, you have to be a jack of all trades as far as what you're managing and then a master of management, right? So, yeah, I've been talking with all these people and I think I've been struggling thinking I had to do it all, but then I remembered a very key, sort of motto, which is when you're looking to outsource for things you don't know how to do or that you don't like. And after looking at a lot of this stuff, that makes it a lot easier because I like building systems, but what I know I need to be doing here is training, onboarding, and finding a good sort of business partner, basically. So there are people who love marketing so much, like they're going to love me working with me because at least I can tell stories. Because we do it. So I think and it's funny because we've seen pieces of this on the sales calls. These companies want to work with us because I think they're like, God, they're going to be great clients because like they're going to let us do our thing and they can talk shop with us. So that's the thing I'm most excited for. I think the next 6 months of like actually working with some senior leadership is going to be fun.
Oh my God, that just hit me that we're like gonna be in those meetings.
Oh yeah, it's happening, you know?
Wow.
Yep. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to it. And then on the side, we're starting our little art project. So, you know, we're going to keep doing this week to week, but I feel like next year is going to be very formative and there's going to be a lot of changes. And not, if they don't happen next year, they'll be planned out. Like that's kind of what I'm starting to feel like is the first 2-3 years of this thing was so reactive of like taking on projects that were just not able to think about these things. And we've kind of scaled enough to a place where I have people managing some of the projects. I'm not as involved with everything, although, you know, not fully removed, but like it feels like, okay, you know, like if I disappeared for an hour or two, like things, they're happening. They're still happening. And I think that's really big. So yeah, look out. We only got really 2 more weeks left in the year. You know, 2022 is wrapping up pretty quickly. So yeah. How was that for your first week back?
Yeah, can't complain. Pretty good. And I feel like I have still so many juicy lessons I learned in Qatar. So I'll keep talking about it in the future podcast episodes. There's so much.
Let's go, man. Maybe we'll add that as a new segment until we run out. But let's wrap this bad boy up, all right?
Okay.
Life hack of the week.
You know, this one just came to mind, but so I don't know how it works for guys, but for girls, I mean, I'm sure guys can do this too. But in sweater season, I've realized that I don't like washing my sweaters too much, and that's not good for the sweaters. So I always wear like a little t-shirt, for me, a crop t-shirt underneath, just so that the pit sweat is soaked up into the t-shirt and not the sweater, so that I can wear the sweater multiple times over. So I think that's a good hack. And I thought to myself, like, oh, I should invest in buying a bunch of basic small shirts I can wear under sweaters, and that'll save me a lot of sweater damage and quality and laundry time, you know?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
See, that's a good one because dudes have like wife beaters, right? That's like a popular
exactly.
thing, except it doesn't really cover the pits, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it does. I think that is the main point, and some people do like just a clean white tee underneath something for to sort of protect, and you know, we sweat. But I'm actually the kind of person like I need freedom. I can't have like a shirt under a shirt. And so I'll just be so itchy in certain sweaters. I'll just take it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I'll just do it because I need that freedom. I mean, you see it here, dude. If I can be in shorts and a t-shirt, I'm in shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah,
and
you
I'm
do
just
like that freedom.
I just like want the least amount so I could just like focus or like here, you know, it's funny. I've even stopped wearing button downs. Like I literally would just put on a sweater, which I used to not be a sweater person. Now I'm just like, dude, putting on one sweater versus actually have to button all the buttons, and I'm that lazy.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow. That's how I feel about button-up jeans. Those, you know those where instead of a zipper, it's buttons.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I swore to myself I will never again buy those kind of pants. I hate them. Yeah.
Well, there we go.
That's that. Yeah, that's the life hack.
Oh my. Hit me
Oh,
maybe with
God.
a question. No questions? All right, I'll try to come up with something good.
You know, this is a struggle.
What is your least favorite body part to work out?
Interesting. Oh, on that note, this week I did my first full week of working out as I used to. I finally got back to it.
Let's go, girl. Make
I
it
was
happen.
scared only doing my PT exercises before this. But I was like, I'm going to try slowly to go back. It's a little scary on my back, but
yeah, you take
it's
it
good.
slow,
It was
bro.
so good.
You build up strength.
Yeah.
Like you know how to do this. You got this.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So I've been feeling great from that. But okay, my least favorite body part to work out. Probably something in my legs. Is it my legs? No. My triceps. I think my triceps. I hate them.
Dude, I just started hitting some extra volume on arms because I think I've neglected them for a long enough time. And I do think like they could be a weak point in some areas. And so now I'm hitting like a couple extra sets of curls and skull crushers. And woo, the burn of a tricep and and it can cramp. It can cramp too when you
flavor.
really contract it. But you know, I'm I'm normal. It's like legs. It kills me. It's only because it makes me feel nauseous. If I didn't feel nauseous, then I would say that it's probably, I actually think biceps are some of the hardest. Like doing good bicep curls.
Oh yeah, no. That is underratedly hard.
Right. Like that's because
to actually properly do it.
When I'm doing a heavy compound, like an overhead press is a good example, or a chin up. Chin ups are really, I'm struggling really hard plateauing on my chin ups right now. But like when you don't have the strength, you don't have the strength. It's just like you get a quarter of the way up and your body's just like, bruh, you can just stop. You know, like you just like, I'm gone everywhere. I'm here and I'll be like, shit, this is going to take 30 seconds, but it'll get up. Or it's just like, nope, not a shot. When it's something like one of those isolation moves, and for me, my curls, I can eke out that extra one or two, and it's like the intensity of that last rep or so is very different. That's what I find. So curls would be like on the upper body, but the problem that I have is like, calves is another one where I'm like, it could be burning, but I'm fighting through it. But, realistically, it's got to just be that like when I'm doing Bulgarian splits or something, like I just get sick, man.
I hate those Bulgarian split squats. Those are difficult.
That's a bad exercise. Yeah, of course, they're so good for you though. That as a split stance exercise, but yeah,
getting into the position with the weights, and it's just awkward.
Yeah, I'll give people another one that probably they all feel the pain after is RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, man. You do it. You must do those one for your lower back, probably, right?
That was okay. So those really, I have an issue with them because I was doing it a certain way, watching like my trainer on YouTube, and then I thought I was doing them right my whole life, and then I go to physical therapy, and they're like, "This is completely wrong form," and so I relearned the form, and it is like one of the hardest ones for me of all the exercises I did. I always get it wrong, and the dude was like, yeah, I see a lot of girls struggling with this because like you arch your back. And I was like, oh yeah. And so I did training with like a stick on my back. Like that's what I did in physical therapy to keep it all straight. And it's like, don't bend your legs at all. I used to bend my legs.
You can.
To try to get deeper.
You can though.
But
you can.
I guess like the initial training is to not bend your legs.
It's not as because when you start to go heavy on it, it's not good for you to. There's a stiff-legged deadlift. But you can do like a 15%. You can break the knees, basically. It's just about making sure you get a really deep stretch, right? But like on the hammies. But basically, like I'm thinking like, at the place where I am, where I'm starting to hit the 60-plus pound dumbbells on it, it's like I'm nervous to have my knees locked out, basically. Then a lot goes back to your lower back as far as the, some of the weight distribution. Yeah. So so I always do like a little break in the knees, but it's not like I don't feel a ball or stretch, and then the next day, holy bananas, that's what it is.
I like that sore though. Feels good.
Learning something new every day. All right. Oh, you didn't ask me a question.
No, I didn't.
You thought you were gonna get out of it, didn't you? Hit me. Make it a quickie.
What's your favorite Christmas present you've ever received?
There have been some amazing ones over the years, I'll say that. My family definitely, because I was the oldest boy of like the only woman on my mom's side. She's the only girl of like 6, so like I got spoiled for sure. And Power Rangers was big when I was growing up, so there were definitely some big Christmases where I was given Power Rangers, or my Uncle Joey got me this big Ninja Turtle thing with ooze in it, and the turtles would transform. It was the coolest thing. But
oh wow,
I would have to say that the most memorable Christmas present was one year I woke up, and my parents, man, they outdid themselves. They left clues and crumbs and little pieces of ripped fabric that Santa had come that I had to follow. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so epic.
That led me, and I was all the way on the top floor, that led me all the way down into our basement, and there was a drum set there. Yeah.
Wow.
And I lost my mind, and I was a drummer, and I was passionate about it, and like it was my first kit, and like I played that sucker until everything broke. Basically, I broke everything on it, and then we upgraded it over time. But like that was a good one. That was a great freaking question. You got this, Grace. That was a great question, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. We also we were in the era where it was like we had the Nintendo 64 moment. PS2 was a big one. So yeah, but that one definitely sticks out as like the effort, which as a kid, I was maybe like 8, 9. So yeah, I really like bought into the whole thing, you know?
I definitely, my dad would do like footsteps from the chimney, like dirty dirt footsteps in the floor.
Damn, that's some effort because he had to clean that shit up after too.
Yeah.
Just for Grace.
Yeah.
That's a good one, man. Well, there you go, guys. That's it for another episode. We'll be back again next week. Catch us as we continue to grow. As always, work hard, be nice, and keep changing. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Peace.